What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AUTOBAHN. My name is Max, and today I'm going to show you around this 2020 BMW 750i xDrive. And this is our new car. We have bought this 7 Series at Thijs Timmermans because, well, let's start with a little story. We bought the Ferrari F12 in March this year, and well, the car was amazing. We did everything with it we wanted to. We drove a lot of kilometers with it. I think like 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers in 6 months basically, or 5 months maybe even. We went to Bugatti in it. We did a trip to a Ferrari event in Paris. We did top speed runs with it, 340 kilometers an hour. We did some cool slides with it and recorded the sound and stuff. So we were like, yeah, this is basically it. We didn't feel any connection to the car, and therefore we decided to sell it. It sat at Münsterhuis Ferrari for quite a while, and no one was really interested in it. So we decided to take it away and trade it in for something we could use, because we came to the conclusion that we didn't really have a car for long distances, something comfortable, quick, practical and luxurious. You know, if we have to go to southern Germany or Austria, where we went a couple of times this year, and last time round we had to take the Defender, our V8 Land Rover Defender, because we didn't have any other car to take, and it was quite uncomfortable, not very economical. It was just a moment for us to say, okay, we need something we can cover a lot of ground in. We've been driving around Western Europe for 13 years now, and it was time to have a proper, well, successor to the SQ7 basically. That was the last really comfortable car we owned and used for this purpose. So here it is. That was a very long intro, but this is it. We decided to buy this 750i xDrive at Thijs Timmermans, who is a long-time partner of ours. He used to work at a Mercedes-Benz dealership, and he gave us AMGs to test and film way back in the beginning. It was like 2010, 2011, and he was one of the first ones, Thijs, to give us some cool quick AMGs to test and film. So we actually go way back, and we knew that he could sell that F12, and we saw this beauty for sale, so we decided to pick it up. It is a sapphire black 2020 BMW 750i. It is a facelift model, as you can see, because, you know, it's got the massive grille, but it has the Shadowline package, so that means you get all this stuff in this like black chrome. It is the individual Shadowline, I believe. It also has an M Sport package, which also blackens out a lot of stuff, and I have to say, I think it looks really good. I had to get used to the big grille, as all of you did probably, but now in this like dark color with the black chrome and the black, I think it looks pretty damn cool actually. I think it's a very striking car. It's imposing. I think it's very handsome. So if you are one of those people who absolutely hated this car when it came out, or the grille at least, let me know what you think in this spec. We've got cool wheels as well, BMW laser light. I think it has a very handsome front end. The back, the rear is beautiful. I always felt that was beautiful, but now not bad at the front either. So the facelift model has this big grille, 40% bigger than before. It also means that the bonnet, the hood, is a bit higher than the pre-facelift, and that gives it a very imposing front. We've got the M Sport package. That means that you get more aggressive front bumpers as well. I mean, it looks very angry actually, and I think it looks super cool. Wheels, these are 20-inch BMW M Performance wheels, or M Sport wheels, whatever you want to call that. Behind that we've got the M Sport brakes, also part of the M Sport package. These are not great. We're not sure if that is because the car has been sitting at Thijs Timmermans for a while, or that the brakes are just not that great. But we're going to look into that, because at the Autobahn, not great, the braking performance. Pirelli P0 tires, 245 section tires at the front. Again, the side blade here in that black chrome, Shadowline, window surrounds, and at the rear we've got 275 section tires. And this is also part of the facelift update. You get a big light bar At the rear, beautiful rear lights with that 3D design, quite like that 750i badge, X-Drive badge. The pre-facelift models also were available with rear-wheel drive. The facelift models only with X-Drive. And then we've got a black bumper as well, black exhaust tips, well, exhaust tip surrounds. Again, part of the bumper, so it's not really an exhaust tip, but you can see the real exhaust in there. It is quite a serious exhaust, and that is because this car has the M Sport exhaust, which is really cool. I've got the optional extras here, so I'm going to get in the rear and show you guys the spec we've got. So sapphire black exterior, we've got mocha leather, so brown leather with a contrast stitching and piping, which is very nice. As you can see, it's not like super luxurious back here. It's not one of those opulent 7 Series, but we do have like a console here with the opportunity to adjust the front seat. You can actually do both of them together, but so this means that you do have some nice space to hang out, cup holders, a little bit of storage here, nothing fancy really. You do have the ability to adjust your seat as well, so you can have like a lounging seating position, and you've got buttons to do all this, but it doesn't have that tablet right there you can use to control everything, and it doesn't have like the exclusive lounge rear seats. No rear seat entertainment either. It's not a long wheelbase version, it's a regular wheelbase. That also has something to do with it. But this is the build sheet basically, based on the VIN generated by bimmer.org. Shout out to that website, very handy. Now, we've got 750i X-Drive. Anything interesting? G11 is the code, of course. G12 for the long wheelbase. The engine N63B4043, if I'm not mistaken. 4.4 liter all-wheel drive, black sapphire, leather Napa erweitert. I think that means extended. So it's an extended leather package in mocha. Built in Dingolfing, Germany. And then I highlighted a couple cool optional extras like the M Sport exhaust system, M Sport brakes, integral active steering, which is the rear wheel steering system, which is very nice. It definitely helps with maneuvering. Feels a bit weird, but it really reduces your turning circle. Executive Drive Pro is the active anti-roll stabilization. Sport package, soft close, of course, comfort access, climate comfort laminated glass. So the 750 and the M760 Li, they both get thicker glass as standard, so you can see it's very thick glass. And then this one has the optional climate comfort laminated, so you can actually see a little layer in between there. Piano black trim as well. Individual rear seat reading lights. That is this thing. I didn't know. That is actually quite handy. You can twist it in all directions. This is a BMW individual optional extra, which is quite weird. Heat comfort package, seat heating in the rear and in the front, ambient light, auxiliary heating. So we have the display key, which you can use to turn on your climate stuff. BMW laser light, as I said, so that means that you get the nicer headlights with the blue accents. Parking assistant plus, so you can use this button. Does that work now? That would be hilarious. Oh, it's only possible outside the car. Okay, I'll show you later. Harman Kardon surround sound system, so that is an optional extra, but it's not the most insane system. You can also get that Bowers and Wilkins, which is just mental. This is pretty good, but it's not too impressive. And then we've got the M leather steering wheel, M aerodynamics package, individual high gloss satin chrome. That is what I meant. So that is that black chrome. And then individual roof lining in anthracite. Is that this stuff? That's not, that doesn't feel individual. This feels like the basic stuff, but anyway, I think that's the most important stuff. So if we have long trips, one of us is going to hang out here and maybe have a laptop to edit videos, and the other one is going to drive it to wherever we want to go. We do have the plush cushions on the headrest, which is very nice. This is also an option, so I can take my skis on holiday. And then let me see if I can get this working. Shoot straight in the wheel. Yeah, there it goes. That is pretty cool. Okay, and then I can use these arrows to move the car. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever used this. It is meant to get out of a parking space, basically. But I mean, if you have parked your car in a way that you can't get in anymore, or I mean, yeah, the only thing I can imagine is that someone has parked his car so close to yours that you have to use this to get out, but I mean, that is a stretch. Anyway, it's there. What else? We have a pretty large boot actually. The car came with one of these, so that is a license plate for a trailer, because we do have a tow hitch, electrically operated. So there it goes. So we are definitely going to use this. This is freaking awesome. That is pretty handy. I mean, we also have the Defender, so I'm not sure how many times we're going to use it, but we are going to use it once. That is my goal for next year. Let's check out the engine. Wow, that took a long time. This is going to be a long review, guys. Maybe get some snacks or whatever. So the N63 engine, as I said, the N63 B44 T3, if I'm not mistaken, which is the facelift version of the 4.4 liter V8 bi-turbo engine with the turbos in the hot V. So it's basically inside the engine with a hot V. So that means the turbochargers are within the cylinder banks between them, and it is actually the first production engine to feature that. I remember when the C63 of this generation, the last generation, was introduced, the 4 liter V8 bi-turbo, they made a big deal about the hot V, and I think everyone just read it somewhere and heard it somewhere and then repeated it, but this was apparently the first one. First used in 2008 in the X650i X-Drive, so it goes a long way back, and this is the latest version with 530 horsepower, 750 newton meters, up from 450 horsepower in the pre-facelift 750i, which is quite a ridiculous increase in power for a facelift. 80 horsepower. 750 newton meters of torque is also a lot. The M760 Li of this generation went from 610 horsepower to 585 horsepower. So it went down in power when the facelift came. It did go from 800 newton meters to 850, but it still went down in power, and the performance of these cars is very close. Last time round we measured this car 100 to 200 at 9.4 seconds, and the M760 Li at 9.3 seconds, so it was just 1/10 slower. This time around though, this car did a 9 second. I'm just going to tell it because I'm too amazed by it. This power plant is amazing. 9 seconds 100 to 200, so this car on this day did it faster than an M760 Li, which is pretty incredible. 0 to 100, 3.9 seconds. We also managed to do that. So it is an amazing car. I love this engine. It is now also in the new Range Rovers, the big one as well as the Sport. It is a gem of an engine. It is so powerful. It sounds amazing. And that brings me to the next thing, the sound. I'm going to start it up in sport mode because it sounds better. This thing, honestly, listen to that. This is I mean, this sounds better than some M cars. It is definitely by far the best sounding non-M BMW, but I also think it sounds better than an M5. It's so dark and muscular. It's really, really good. I love it. And that is that M Sport exhaust. If you go for comfort mode, you can hear the valve. It's super quiet and civilized, but in sport mode, cold start, it sounds amazing. So let's take it for a drive. Another thing I forgot is to show you guys that we've got the carbon core right there. So this 7 Series, they used like carbon composites, aluminium, stuff like that to keep it as light as possible. It still weighs just over 2,000 kilos. But it is lighter than an M760 Li, for instance. It's like, I think it's like 200 kilos heavier with that big V12 up front. Okay, so we are going to keep it in sport mode because I love that sound. Now, driving this car is amazing. It is so effortless, and it has this really strong, torquey feel, and it is one of my favorite BMWs, this 750i. I think when we drove it for the first time, I love all the 50i's, let me be clear on that. I love an M550i as well. I love an M850i, I love a X550 M50i, I love an X7 M50i, I love them all. I think they're all really good, and in some cases better than their M brethren. And well, it's no different with this one. I actually think that if you look at this car versus the M760 Li, there are very few reasons to go for an M760 Li. There's basically only, well, two. One, if you just want the biggest, baddest, fastest one, because it does have a much higher top speed, or if you want a V12 and you don't want anything else. That's basically two reasons why you would get that one. I think this car also sounds better than an M760 Li. But driving it in sport mode, we do have air suspension, of course. We do have that Executive Drive Pro to keep everything relatively flat, but still, it moves around. It is a big, heavy car, and if you give it some throttle, it pitches, it dives, it squats, which I quite like, actually. I like that about my Defender as well. I like that about this car as well. It sounds so good. It's very, I don't know, it's not too shouty, it's not too in your face. It is a relatively civilized V8 sound, but I just think they judged that to perfection. It is just that little bit of a V8 edge, that darkness you want from a V8 car. Yeah, I think it sounds so cool. So at the Autobahn we do have one issue, of course. As I said, this car doesn't have as high a top speed as the M760 Li, because this car has a limit at 250 kilometers an hour, which is, yeah, that is nothing. So I do think we are going to have to do something about that. At least get that limiter off. Because I'm curious what it will do stock top speed. Here we go, full throttle. Oh, that picks up very well, actually. Oh, it is seriously quick. That is a V8 Mustang. Let's go, buddy. So here we are, 255, 7, 9, 60. That is it. That is it. That was very quick. And it won't go any faster than that. I mean, this thing will do 300, I think. I mean, it should be able to do 300. And if you tune it a little bit, you can get, 590 is the lowest thing I've seen, but you can go further than that. But we first have to get rid of that speed limiter, because this is no fun. So as I said, there we go, it does squat quite a bit, even in sport mode. As I said, 100 to 200 kilometers an hour, 9 seconds that, which is very quick. That is quicker than a BMW M850i Grand Coupe, for instance, quicker than a BMW M760 Li, quicker than an X3M, quicker than an X5M competition, quicker than Martijn's BMW M3. So if you look at all those BMWs, this crazy old 7 Series, well, not old, but this 7 Series made for fast grandpas is right up there with the quicker BMWs, which is very cool, and it's quicker than a couple of M cars, which is freaking awesome. Now let's switch to Comfort Plus, which is a setting you get in the 7 Series, of course. You might remember that Alpina also includes this setting in their B5, so the 5 Series. I think also in the B3 even, but woo, that is very floaty. So let's cruise at a nice speed here. It just absorbs everything. That is insane. This is 250 Comfort Plus. That is really good. That is really good. It feels like when you're on like a straight highway without too many potholes and stuff and bumps, it feels like you're on one of those old school movie treadmills, you know? They used to have like treadmills with the background passing by, and then it would look like the car was moving. When you drive this at like 130, 140, you can see everything moving past you, but it's so quiet and so stable and so comfortable that it feels like you're standing still and everything else is moving. It's amazing. It is absolute magic. I mean, the way you can cruise in this thing, this is why we bought it. You know, 240, 250. It's super quiet. Have nice music, or, you know, working in the rear. That is truly impressive. It's not as comfortable and as like luxurious, opulent as a Mercedes S-Class, I would say. That one is more comfortable, but I do love the duality of this car. Having that amazing V8 and the comfort. I love the way it looks. I love the interior. It drives so well, it handles so well. It does everything really well, basically. So stay tuned for more content coming up with this 750i. I'm going to end it here. Fun is over. That is the border. Thanks for watching. You can check out this video on the right, this playlist on the left if you want to watch another one. You can subscribe by clicking the big button, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye guys.